Riga, Latvia, Gdansk, Poland, Gottland, Sweden, and Lubeck, Germany. What do these places and cities all have in common? They're all situated in Northern Europe, and they are all on the coast of the Baltic Sea, but it goes deeper than that. Before the modern age, and more specifically the discovery of the Americas, these places, amongst many others across Northern Europe, formed a major, powerful European trading network, the Hanseatic League. Though its history remains relatively popularly unknown, those that do know a little about it will know that the Hanseatic League was a powerful and influential organization that emerged in the late medieval period, and that it had a significant impact on the development of trade, commerce, and political alliances in Northern Europe. Let's explore that history. The Hanseatic League emerged in the 12th century as a loose association of German merchants trading in the Baltic Sea region. Its origins can be traced back to the medieval trade fairs that took place in the German cities of Lubeck, Hamburg, and Bremen. These fairs attracted merchants from all over Europe, and they became important centers of trade and commerce. The merchants who attended these fairs began to form informal associations for mutual protection and support. As the trade networks expanded, these associations became more formalized, and in 1241, the Hanseatic League was officially established at a meeting in Lubeck. In its first incarnation, the League consisted of a number of cities and towns throughout Northern Europe, including Lubeck, Hamburg, Bremen, Rostock, Danzig, and many others. These cities were bound together by a common interest in trade and commerce, and they shared a desire for mutual protection and support. After its creation, the League quickly became a dominant force in Northern Europe. In 1361, the Hanseatic League demonstrated its military might by defeating the Danish king in a naval battle, securing its dominance of the Baltic Sea, and the lucrative trade routes that it contained. Following this, the League continued to expand its reach, establishing a trading outpost in Novgorod, Russia, in 1370, which gave it access to valuable trade routes into the interior of the country. However, it would face challenges in the late 14th century when the Union of Kalmar united Denmark, Norway, and Sweden under a single monarch, reducing the importance of the League's trade with these countries. The 1430s marked the beginning of the Hanseatic League's decline as other European powers, such as England and the Netherlands, gained dominance in international trade. In 1474, the Hanseatic League suffered a major blow when it was expelled from the English port of Boston, marking the beginning of its decline in England. Another nail in the League's metaphorical coffin was the Protestant Reformation in the 1530s, which left it divided as some member cities converted to Protestantism while others remained Catholic. The League's decline continued into the 16th century, as new trade routes opened up and European nations began to establish their own trading empires. It was also weakened by internal conflicts and competition between its member cities. By the 17th century, the League had lost much of its power and influence, and it was officially dissolved in 1669. While active, the League traded in a variety of goods, including timber, furs, fish, grains, textiles, and metal ores, and its member cities were known for their production of high-quality goods. The trade of all of these goods cemented the member states and cities as important regional centers for these goods. Though I've mentioned some of them before, the most prominent cities in the Hanseatic League included Lubeck, which was the most important city in the Hanseatic League, serving as the League's de facto capital. It was a major center for trade in fish, grain, and timber, and was also a hub for the League's shipbuilding industry. Hamburg, another major center for trade in fish and grain, Hamburg was one of the wealthiest cities in the Hanseatic League. It was also a significant port for the League's shipping industry. Bremen, like Hamburg, Bremen was a center for trade in fish and grain. It was also a significant center for the processing and trade of wool. Danzig, now called Gdansk. This Germano-Polish port city was a major center for trade in grain, timber, and furs. It was one of the wealthiest cities in the Hanseatic League and played an essential role in trade between the League and other parts of Europe. Cologne, although not a port city, Cologne was a significant center for trade in wine, textiles, and other goods. It served as a hub for trade between the League and the Rhineland region. Other important cities, such as Rostock and Tallinn, were also significant members of the League and played critical roles in its trade and commerce. However, the Hanseatic League was also not just a commercial organization. It also had significant political and military power. The League had its own military forces, known as the Hanseatic Fleet. The fleet played a crucial role in the success of the Hanseatic League. The fleet consisted of both warships and merchant vessels, which were used for transportation of goods, protection of trade routes, and for military purposes when needed. The ships of the Hanseatic Fleet were generally well-armed and well-manned, and they were used to defend the trading interests of the Hanseatic cities against piracy and other forms of maritime threats. The Hanseatic fleet was organized and controlled by the Hanseatic League's governing body, the Hanseatic Diet, which was made up of representatives from the member cities. The Diet decided on matters related to the fleet's operations, such as the number and types of ships to be built and maintained, and the allocation of funds for their upkeep. The Hanseatic fleet was able to maintain its dominance over the seas for several centuries. It enabled the League to expand its trade routes and to establish trading posts in distant lands, such as Novgorod, London, and Bergen. However, the fleet also faced challenges, including attacks from rival powers and the emergence of new maritime technologies and trade routes, which eventually led to its decline. In addition to its military capabilities, the Hanseatic League also had significant political influence. It was able to negotiate treaties and alliances with other European powers, including England, France, and the Netherlands. These alliances were based on shared economic interests and a desire for mutual protection, and they helped to cement the Hanseatic League's position as a powerful political force in Northern Europe. Over time, the Hanseatic League continued to expand its influence, adding new member cities and towns to its network. The organization also became involved in other areas of economic activity, including banking and finance. The League established a system of banking and credit that helped to facilitate trade and commerce throughout the region. Today, the legacy of the League lives on. Despite shifting territory and borders and historical turbulence, many modern successor cities now identify as Hanseatic cities across Northern Europe. In 1980, cities across the region with historic Hanseatic links established a new Hansa in Zwolle, named Stadbund die Hansa, and reinstituted the Hanseatic Diets. This league is open to all former Hanseatic League members and cities that share a Hanseatic heritage. The headquarters of this legacy organization is in Lubeck and aims to foster business links, tourism, and cultural exchange. In 2012, this new Hansa included cities across Germany, the Netherlands, Sweden, Norway, and 21 Polish and Russian cities. In 2006, the English city of King's Lynn joined the Union, and Boston in 2012. More specifically, a number of German and Dutch cities strongly identify with the Hanseatic label, which even appears on car number plates. Going even further, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, Ireland, Latvia, Lithuania, the Netherlands and Sweden established the new Hanseatic League in 2018 through the signing of a foundational document, which set out the countries' shared views and values, in the context of further European-wide economic integration. Make sure to hit like and subscribe if you liked this video. I'd love to be able to bring you more longer videos like this video, and doing both of those things will help me do that.